For legendary professional athletes, doesn't matter whether they're in the NFL or the NBA. For legendary professional athletes, they come to a point in their career where winning a championship can become more important than money. They chase a title. Adding a title to their legacy becomes more important than maximizing their value on a contract. We saw it in the NBA with Karl Malone late in his career. You can make the case Tom Brady left New England to go chase a title down in Tampa, though it's a little bit different. The Bucs have lost more games than any team in the history of the NFL, but still, Tampa's roster was loaded when they had Jameis Winston. They just needed a quarterback who could lead them to win, lead them to the playoffs. You guys get my point though. You know where I'm going with this, because J.J. Watt just signaled to everyone that to him, money is more important at this point of his career than winning the Super Bowl. He signed a 2-year deal with the Arizona Cardinals, $15.5 million a year, $23 million guaranteed. J.J. Watt is clearly maximizing his value. Actually, he and his agent did a hell of a job here. You got to give him credit, because the Cardinals are overpaying J.J. Watt. He's going to be 32 years old once the season begins. He's not a quarterback who can still play at a high level well into their 30s. J.J. Watt is a defensive end, a position that takes a beating, and unlike wine, it doesn't get better with age. He has had one good season in the last 5 years. First 5 years of his career, J.J. Watt was unstoppable. He was durable. He was a force to be reckoned with. You couldn't get him off the field. That all seems like a generation ago. He's not the same player that he was from 2011 to 2015. He played all 16 games last season, recorded just 5 sacks. A dude who used to be a machine forcing turnovers has just 4 turnovers the last 2 years. J.J. Watt is just no longer an impact player. He's not an Aaron Donald or a Cam Jordan. I know Cardinals fans are all excited that he signed with them, thinking that they're going to get the J.J. Watt from 10 years ago, but that's just not going to happen. The defense is more than one player away in Arizona from being elite. Bringing in J.J. Watt is not going to suddenly transform the Cardinals' defense into some type of powerhouse, because J.J. Watt isn't a transcendent player anymore. And you can make the case that J.J. Watt was never a transcendent player. He spent 10 years in Houston. How many times did he lead the Texans to the Super Bowl? Hell, how many times did he lead them to an AFC championship game? It seems to me that J.J. Watt and the Texans were getting bounced every year in the wild card round at home. Now, that's not all on J.J. Watt. I'm not blaming him. The Texans are a disaster of an organization. A franchise that has no class. We have seen that in their dealings with Deshaun Watson, and we saw it again with the departure of J.J. Watt. The ink wasn't even dry on his contract with the Cardinals, and the Texans were already trashing him on the way out, trashing him in the media. Of course, it was all done anonymously. That's how these things are, usually done, anonymously. Someone on the Texans coaching staff spoke to a member of the local media up in Buffalo. The Bills were one of the teams that were interested in signing J.J. Watt. And whoever this coach was didn't exactly give J.J. Watt a glowing review. This coach told the media in Buffalo that J.J. Watt is a selfish player who only cares about his stats. He said he does many things that hurt the defense, that he hurt the Texans more than he helped them. And the final nail in the coffin? This former coach said that he wouldn't want J.J. Watt on his team. Now, I've got a real problem. I got a big problem with this, actually. One, I don't like the whole anonymous thing. If you're going to be critical of somebody, have the balls to put your name on it. But this really bothers me because of everything that J.J. Watt has done, not only for the Texans, but for the city of Houston. This guy was the face of your franchise for 10 years. Actually, J.J. Watt has been the only face of the franchise in Houston. He stuck by this organization through all the mismanagement, all of the bad personnel decisions, playing under Bill O'Brien for far too long. J.J. Watt always handled everything with class. He wasted the best years of his NFL career playing for a second-rate organization, and never once did he question any of their decisions publicly or criticize them in the media. When that hurricane flooded Houston a few years back, who was in the streets giving people food and water? J.J. Watt. Who was donating his own money and raising money through his charity? J.J. Watt. He played a major part in healing the city of Houston after that storm. And how do the Texans repay him? How do they repay him for his loyalty, doing everything he could to help lift this franchise? A franchise that before J.J. Watt was drafted had never even had a franchise-level player before. How do they repay J.J. Watt? They trash him on his way out. No thank you for his dedication. No thank you for his service. No thank you for the last 10 years. No thank you for his loyalty. Instead, they call him selfish. Basically said he wasn't a team player and someone that they wouldn't want on their team. Now, none of this surprises me. This is typical of the Houston Texans, but I got a news flash for them. Most NFL players are concerned about their stats because most NFL contracts are incentive-laden. It's not like the NBA, where 100% of the money on your contract is guaranteed. I'm sure J.J. Watt had hundreds of thousands of dollars of incentives included in his contract. So, of course, he's worried about his damn statistics. Anyway, enough with the Texans. They're arguably the worst run franchise in the NFL and don't really deserve any more of our time here. Once Deshaun Watson gets the hell out of there this offseason, the Texans are going to go right back to irrelevancy, where they belong. Once J.J. Watt signed with the Cardinals, their odds of winning the Super Bowl immediately improved. I've seen analysts on TV claim Arizona's now a legitimate Super Bowl contender now that J.J. Watt will be anchoring their defense, and I could not disagree more. I'll go as far as to say that this is a mistake for both J.J. Watt and the Arizona Cardinals. Like I said earlier, the Cardinals are overpaying for a player that is well past his prime and has an extensive history with injuries. Injuries don't get better as you age, they get worse. J.J. Watt has missed 8 games or more 3 of the last 5 years. Does anyone really believe he's going to play all 32 games over the 2 years of this contract? Plus, with the Cardinals paying him over $15 million a year, it limits what they can pay everybody else. This is a real problem for Arizona, especially defensively. Arizona has 7 defensive starters from last season entering free agency this offseason. More than likely, they're going to be saying goodbye to most of them. The salary cap's going down. The Cardinals aren't going to be able to be competitive with these free agents financially. They're going to lose guys like Patrick Peterson. So you tell me how you potentially lose 7 starters on your defense, but sign J.J. Watt, and he automatically makes you a Super Bowl contender? I just don't think so. I don't see it. The Cardinals aren't close to Super Bowl contention. Hell, they're not even the best team in their own division. Damn sure aren't the best defense in the NFC West. Matter of fact, Arizona could be the worst team in the NFC West this year. I'm not saying that they're going to be bad. The Cardinals are okay. They could go 8-8 and still be the worst team in the NFC West. The division's going to be loaded. But ultimately, in the long run, I think J.J. Watt is going to regret signing with the Cardinals. Now, he damn sure is not going to regret it from a financial standpoint. He's laughing all the way to the bank right now. This is probably his last big money contract. But in terms of overall legacy, I think he's going to regret this because he's not winning a Super Bowl with the Cardinals over the next 2 years. He had other teams interested that are far closer to Super Bowl contention than Arizona. Teams like the Buffalo Bills, the Packers. This was strictly a monetary decision by J.J. Watt. He went to the team that paid him the most money. And look, I will never fault a guy for taking the money. I'm not criticizing him for doing that. NFL careers are short. There are very, very few jobs in this country that pay this kind of money. More than likely, J.J. Watt will never make this kind of money the rest of his life, so I'm not blaming him for taking the money. Maybe his ultimate goal is not to win a Super Bowl. Maybe it's to make as much money as possible before the end of his career. And if that is J.J. Watt's goal, then he just achieved it. Now, what do you guys think? Was signing J.J. Watt a mistake by the Arizona Cardinals? What are your thoughts on the Texans trashing him on the way out after all he's done for that franchise? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.